Hello everyone, this is the programme Capital Ideas Life and I'm its host, Mike Gibson. Today we're starting a new format for the programme. For the first time, our film crew have gone to the city of Baku. Now, friendly relations have existed between the city halls of Baku and Moscow for a long time. Now, the two capitals are actively developing cooperation in many areas. So, let's get acquainted with this beautiful city and its fantastic inhabitants. Today on the programme, Moscow-Baku, 25 years of friendship between the Russian and Azerbaijani capitals. The 15th Verona Eurasian Economic Forum in Baku. Baku-style hospitality, all about the traditions, customs and culture of the capital of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is the largest country in Transcaucasia. The country is located on the shores of the Caspian Sea and covers an area of 86,600 square kilometers. The capital of Azerbaijan is the city of Baku.
I think that Baku is one of the most comfortable cities. That includes for doing business. It is a beautiful city, full of history, culture, and traditions. Azerbaijan is one of the few countries of the former Soviet Union which is truly international. This is the city where Yesenin and Mayakovsky came together, the two poles of Russian poetry. Baku is a city of many faces. It has European, Asian, and Russian architecture. Everything comes together here. Get ready for a culture shock.
This year, Moscow and Baku celebrate their joint anniversary, 25 years of friendly relations. The first memorandum on cooperation and collaboration between the cities was signed in 1997. During this period, Russia and Azerbaijan have come a long way in strengthening their mutual beneficial cooperation. During the past 30 years, more than 80 interstate and intergovernmental agreements have been signed. Economic and trade relations are still dynamically developing.
Azerbaijan remains one of the most important partners to the Russian capital from an economic perspective. If you look at the statistics, we note an increase in foreign trade turnover in 2021. This year, its figures will be about $1 billion. This demonstrates that cooperation between Moscow businesses and Moscow residents with Azerbaijani partners is quite successful.
The successful visit of the Baku delegation to the Russian capital during the Second Caspian Economic Forum illustrates the ongoing, fruitful cooperation of the states. Another important business audience for the dialogue between Moscow and Baku was the 15th Verona Eurasian Economic Forum, held this time in the capital of Azerbaijan. This year, for the first time, the Verona Eurasian Economic Forum is being held in Baku. Now we're in the Baku Congress Center, which has become the main venue of the forum. This is the largest multi-functional complex in the Caucasus. Events of the highest level are held here. It's an impressive building.
There were many skeptics who believed that in the current political situation, many of our foreign partners were unlikely to respond. But the fact is that today, in the capital of Azerbaijan, hundreds of major companies from Russia, Europe, and Asia are openly discussing the challenges that exist in the global economy. It demonstrates the desire of businesses to resume pre-existing relations as soon as possible.
The Verona Forum takes place over 2 days. Its participants, who are representatives of many countries from around the world, are now divided into special thematic groups to discuss important topical issues such as the economy, energy, ecology, and so on. Thus, the city, which is rapidly becoming the center of world business cooperation, is also uniting the interests of many countries. A delegation of the Moscow government also took part in the forum. In attendance were many well-known Russian political scientists, businessmen, economists, and analysts.
I really liked Sechin's speech. But this is not the first time, because he always tells it like it is. As for many of the other speakers, in general, they made their speeches based on the logic that nothing will change by and large. And this is not the case, because the economic mechanism that has been operating for the last 40-odd years is no longer operating. It simply no longer works. Its potential is simply exhausted. And for this reason, we are in for a radical change due to an objective change in the economic mechanism. The 15th Verona Eurasian Economic Forum is being held in Baku because the main topic is no longer Europe, nor the greater Europe that has been talked about from Lisbon to Vladivostok, but the topic of Eurasia. And the Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Overchuk clearly outlined for the participants the thesis that Russia has ceased to be the east of Europe. It has become rather the north of Eurasia. A new understanding of its role is taking place, not only geopolitically, but also economically. What should the media do? I wouldn't say not just for Greater Asia, I would say in general, the task of the media in this difficult period. We must tell more stories, we must build bridges of friendship and cooperation.
The relationship between Moscow and Baku is made up of more than just 30 years of diplomatic cooperation in the recent history of Russia and Azerbaijan. There are hundreds of years of common history and victories, which, as you know, always brings people together. One such victory was especially memorable for Muscovites and Baku residents, the victory of the legendary chess player Anatoly Karpov in the 1978 World Championship. A feature film was recently made based on this story. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a long time. It's the true story of the remarkable victory of Anatoly Karpov, a legend of world chess. The main character and the idol of all chess fans personally came to the screening of the film in Baku.
The topic is not easy because chess is not soccer or basketball, where everything is in motion. In chess, the main events take place inside a person. It's an emotion, it's a struggle, it's the mood to fight, to worry. But the artists managed to convey this inner side of the World Championship.
The film World Champion first premiered in December 2021 in Moscow. Following that, it was successfully screened in Geneva and Rome. The film was warmly received in Baku. That was such an incredible story. I'm overwhelmed. It really is a must-see. And the real gift for young chess players was meeting the champion himself.
It's a very cool movie. I really enjoyed it, especially the moments when he won. It was really something. All the emotion was there, the way he was winning, the way he reasoned. It was a very interesting film. Chess for me is an enormous independent world. It's an art, and I really liked the film. It's emotional.
Baku, a one-of-a-kind city. Such a pretty metro, and there's a flying carpet above my head. It's bright, colourful, and emotional. And there's a very beautiful park here in Baku. Baku's calling card is rightly considered to be its architecture. And look at this beautiful historical building. It's the City Hall of Baku. Many unique buildings appeared here during the first oil boom of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Oil producers, having large funds and a desire to stand out, were not stingy with the construction of family mansions. Now the stones of these houses preserve the stories of destiny, stories of love, and sometimes the appearance of their former owners.
There is a joke that dogs look like their owners. But in Baku, the houses looked like their owners. Here is the famous house of Hajinsky, the Maiden Tower, elegant, aristocracy. Look at Hajinsky himself. Or there was Dmitry Mitrofanov, a petty bourgeois of the Perm province. Look at his house.
Famous Baku researcher and historian Fuad Akhundov is ready to tell incredible stories for hours about many old buildings of pre-revolutionary Baku and about the people who came to this beautiful city at different times.
Fyodor Shaliapin was so tremendously impressed that he once gave 2 concerts here instead of the promised one. And then in an interview with the local press, he declares, "For life, I was born on the Volga, and for music, in the Caucasus."
There are more than 1,000 rare photographs in the researcher's archive, but the biography of the Baku man himself could well be the script for a thriller film. With special trepidation, he tells the story of his love for the head of the Central Film and Photo Documents Archive.
Imagine a woman. She was 60 when I arrived at her house. A woman who had no family, no children, no desire to have any. She had an archive. She knew every document by its inventory number. She would say, "I don't need a computer. My computer is here." She was a phenomenal woman. And you'd think she was some kind of archive rat. No. In her 60s, she dressed elegantly. She wore stilettos. She had lightweight flapper jackets. She would kick a Central Committee worker out of her office because she thought he smelled bad. That's it. But if she liked you, she would expose you to the holiest of holies. She would let you into the archives.
Thus, the director of the Central Archive granted the young researcher access to unique photographs, and their personal history of acquaintance ended with a lavish wedding in the palace of the millionaire philanthropist Murtuza Mukhtarov. Baku is a cosmopolitan city. There is practically no language barriers here. Many locals speak Russian, and their children study in Russian schools. Incidentally, the Russian diaspora in Baku is considered one of the largest in Transcaucasia. Integration of Russian nationals in scientific and educational, cultural, and humanitarian spheres is assisted by the Russian House in Baku. We were invited to visit the Russian House in Baku, so let's get acquainted with it. Irek, hello.
Welcome to the Russian House in Baku.
Thank you. The Russian House was created in the capital of Azerbaijan at the initiative of the federal agency Россотрудничество.
If we walk around with you, we instantly see our cafe. A cafe that we've designed as a library, where our visitors can have a cup of coffee and read a book.
The Russian House regularly hosts cultural events, concerts, meetings with writers, and exhibitions of famous Azerbaijani and foreign artists.
And now Eldar Babazadeh, the Azerbaijani artist. For example, if you take any of his paintings, you can see Isheri-Shekher, the old city. And in each he has a pomegranate somewhere.
The Russian House implements a large number of cultural and educational programs in Baku. For example, it is coordinated with Russia on the project Compatriots. Much attention is also paid to working with young people.
One of these great programs is the Moscow Mayor's Scholarship. The Russian community runs this program here, under which Azerbaijani students receive a scholarship from the mayor of Moscow.
The first Russian settlers appeared in Azerbaijan in the early 19th century. For 2 centuries, the Russian diaspora played an important role in the life of Baku. Therefore, the two peoples have much in common. The famous Azerbaijani writer, researcher, and historian Georgy Zapletin wrote about this in his book, Russians in the History of Azerbaijan.
I, being a Russian national, but born on Baku's soil, have never encountered any incidents of nationalism or disrespect for any other nation in my entire life. There is no such thing in Azerbaijan, and God willing, there never will be. Today, Azerbaijan is a free, democratic, independent state. It maintains close, friendly relations with the Russian Federation and other cities. This is evidenced by the exchange of delegations at various levels.
Visits of delegations from Moscow to Baku are always accompanied by a large cultural and business agenda. This time, the parties met at a round table as part of the international project, the Geneva Readings. The main topic was to discuss the role of women in the modern world and the achievements of sustainable development goals.
We had a talk, and now I understand what the feminine dimension is. The feminine dimension is peace, creation, and harmony.
The relationship between Moscow and Baku, is there any connection here?
We have informal connections, and we support these ties with interesting, new creative projects like today's roundtable and yesterday's event, when young Baku residents came and received a gift from Moscow, the great film world champion and the champion himself, Moscow's Anatoly Karpov. They will remember it for life. And in the next generation, they will say, Moscow brought us Karpov. So it seems to me that this connection is very important. It's humanitarian, cultural, educational, and that's perhaps the strength of our two cities.
The Geneva Readings were held in an unusual place, the Azerbaijani National Carpet Museum. The Carpet Museum in Baku is shaped like a rolled carpet. It has the largest collection of Azerbaijan carpets in all the world. The collection of this museum has more than 1 million priceless pieces, from the Bronze Age to the present day. A carpet, for a true Baku resident, is not just a household item, it is a national treasure. Beautiful. Carpets in Baku are a symbol of tradition. They are handed down by generations, and carpet weaving in Azerbaijan is considered a true art. There are many different schools and styles of carpet weaving. This is an old machine for making carpets by hand. And this is a modern workbench made from metal. Did you know that from the drawings on the carpet, you can actually read the carpet story? Near the Carpet Museum, there is another pearl of Baku, the world-famous International Mukham Center.
The International Mukham Center was founded in 2008 by the first Vice President of Azerbaijan, President of the Gaydar Aliyev Foundation, Mehriban Aliyeva, in accordance with the order of President Ilham Aliyev. The International Mukham Center was established to promote the national music of Mukham. A lot of events are held here. Mukham is a musical genetic code, not only for a musician, but for every Azerbaijani living both here and abroad. It is a philosophy that unites us all. It comes from depths of tradition spanning over centuries.
Mukham is one of the main genres of traditional Azerbaijani national music. It is said that a true master of Mukham never repeats. Each time a new, unique melody is played. That's why it's impossible to write it down on paper with notes. The Mughams are even included in UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. So if you happen to visit Baku, be sure to visit the Mukham Center and immerse yourself in this wonderful world of Azerbaijani music. It is said that the first place to get to know a country is in the kitchen. And if you follow this advice, then be prepared to be fed here like an honored guest. Baku residents are very hospitable people. Azerbaijani cuisine is plentiful, tasty, and diverse.
We have excellent pilav. We have excellent kebabs. We have excellent, as they call it, cauldron emek, something made in pots. This is dolma. The pastries, gurza, kutabs. I'll tell you, everything likes shakhplov very much.
And of course, not a single meal passes without a cup of traditional Oriental tea. It is served in special small glasses, armuds, which means pear in Azerbaijani. Their special shape allows the drink to retain its temperature and reveals its rich taste. The Aliyev Gaydar Center is one of the most famous buildings in Baku and a symbol of the modern city. Its design is inspired by the winds of Baku and the waves of the Caspian Sea. The building appears on Azeri banknotes and has won many awards. This unique cultural center is named after President Gaydar Aliyev. On May the 10th, 2023, the country will celebrate his 100th birthday. During his lifetime, Gaydar Aliyev laid the foundation for strategic cooperation between the Russian Federation and the Republic of Azerbaijan and made great personal contributions to strengthening Baku-Moscow friendship. And here is the Museum of Gaydar Aliyev. The museum is very interactive. You can get all the information yourself. It's very convenient. This is the work of a Turkish artist. It's dedicated to the memory of Gaydar Aliyev. It's in the style of op art, which means it's an optical illusion. This is a Chaika, the official car of Gaydar Aliyev during the Soviet period. The Gaydar Aliyev Center was designed by world-renowned architect Zaha Hadid. Straight lines have been totally eliminated in the design of the building. That is why the center is regarded as such a uniquely beautiful building. These steps are amazing. They vanish into the walls. And I feel like I'm inside a cave. In the halls of the center, one may get acquainted with the history of Azerbaijan and its cultural heritage. There are national costumes, a collection of carpets of famous masters, and of course, traditional musical instruments. In order to listen to the sound of the instruments, you just need to stand on the little carpet. Ooh. That's the sound of the gaval. And here is the tar.
Baku has its own face. It does not reject anyone, but at the same time it retains its individuality. It has changed beyond recognition. It has become modern, comfortable, beautiful. And then there is the food. Democratic Azerbaijan is standing on solid legs, led by our current leader. And we want to believe that the future of the Azerbaijani people will be very, very good. I have lectured here many times about the economic crisis, about the state of affairs, so I always come here with great pleasure. Baku, first of all, is my hometown.
Baku is my home. I love Baku because I have so many friends here. I think we have a beautiful city.
Two different countries, Russia and Azerbaijan. And the differences and the cities are different too, Baku and Moscow. But nevertheless, we have so much in common. In general, it's very warm here. They love us here, and we always need to come back to Baku. Muscovites, come to Baku!
Baku is a truly unique city, and I'm so delighted that we managed to get to know it a bit better. And see you in the next show. And as they say in Baku, Soch Sachol, all the best to you.